All right, it is now 6:30, so we will call to order the Monday, April 25th meeting, 2022 of the Norton Conservation Commission. Time now is 6:30 p.m. We have in our meeting currently John Thomas, our Conservation Director. Megan Harrop is our Assistant Director. I am Julian Kadish, Chair. We have Ron O'Reilly, Mark Fernandez, Carrie Schneider, Tom Vest, Dan Pearson, and our only member not yet signed in is Lisa Carozza.
She's here now.
Who is Vice Chair.
She's here now.
And she is signing in now. So as is required, because this is a remote meeting being conducted over Zoom, we need to read the preamble concerning certain requirements of the open meeting law not being met. And Dan, if you're able to read that?
Yes.
I would go ahead. I would be pleased. Go ahead, please.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, GL Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for more remote participation of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement in this meeting can be found at the end of this agenda. Members of the public attending this public hearing/meeting virtually be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by raising their hand virtually or pressing *9 if participating by phone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so despite efforts, we will post on the Norton Cable website, www.nortonmediacenter.org, an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible at the meeting.
Thank you, Dan. We have no new public hearings this meeting, but our first continued public hearing is file number 250-1070, notice of intent for 0 Rear Eddy Street for Wydeck Share Corporation. Our agenda says that they have requested a continuance to May 9th. And I'm assuming that's correct. Is that correct, John?
That is correct. I'm still waiting on new material from them.
All right. So we can consider a motion to continue file number 250-1070 until May 9th.
So, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Dan and seconded by Tama. We're going to do a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron.
Aye.
Aye.
And then Tama and Dan.
Aye.
Aye.
And Lisa and Carrie.
Aye. Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries. File number 250-1070 is continued. The hearing is continued until May 9th. Our next item is file number 250-1093. There's a notice of intent for 70 Oak Street. This is also listed as requesting a continuance until May 9th. So
So
we can
moved.
consider a motion for that. Motion made by Dan and seconded by? Seconded by Lisa. Again, a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron,
Aye.
Aye.
and Tama and Dan,
Aye.
Aye.
and Lisa and Carrie.
Aye.
And I will throw in an aye, so the motion carries. File number 250-1093 is continued until May 9th. Our next item is ANRAD 93 Mansfield Avenue, 0 Mansfield Avenue and 0 Reservoir Street. That is also listed as requesting a continuance until May 9th. So we can consider a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Dan and seconded by? By Lisa. Again, a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron,
Aye.
Aye.
and Tama and Dan.
Aye.
Aye.
And I was almost going to say Peter, but we'll go with Lisa and Carrie.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. File number 250-1096, the hearing is continued until May 9th. Then we have 68 Leonard Street, which is an ANRAD, file number 250-1099. And do we have a representative of that applicant?
Yes, this is Mark Morano with Oak Hill Engineering.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, let me just share my screen here. So per request of last meeting, we went out there and we got additional topography shots. We got a really good detailed area of what was dug out in this vicinity. What gravels were removed. And then we did some additional shots to update the AE zone floodplain per the request. That's it. I've been working with John this week and was wondering if anyone had any further questions.
All right. And so, John, I just want to confirm that the only items that we were expecting more information on was just some additional shots as far as the elevations go.
So
and I think there was some question of the adjustment of the flood plain, the flood zone.
Yeah. So just to, I guess, recap from the last meeting, the western portion of this site, we requested that some more spot shots and contours be kind of established to kind of get a better sense of what the topography is like on the western portion of the site and to see where that floodplain would lie. So the applicant has field confirmed that with spot shots and also recontouring that area. In addition to Lisa Carrozza's comments from last 2 weeks ago regarding the floodplain being established correctly. I told Mark just basically to divide the 73 and 74 contour and just make that the 73.5 and just have that be the floodplain elevation. So based on this map, it appears that it's in good standing for making that extrapolation. Based on what we saw this morning, Mark did diligently made some good adjustments to the plan for this evening.
Any questions from members of the commission? And any questions from anyone in the audience? You can either go to the reactions button and push the hand up button, or you can just unmute and ask a question. But I don't hear anything. So we have everything all the information we need in order to potentially close this hearing? Is that a fair statement, John?
We do have the DEP number and we do have all the green card receipts. Is that correct, Megan? Just double check me on that.
Yes, I believe so.
All right, and I think we have adequate information unless there are further questions from members of the commission. So unless there are further questions, I think we can consider a motion to close this as an ANRAD, file number 250-1099.
Mr. Chairman, go ahead. Is somebody else?
No, go ahead, Dan. I'll second your motion.
Okay, yes, I will so move that we issue the ANRAD for DEP number 250-1099.
You're a little ahead of the game. We're just closing the hearing. We'll get to the
By
issue.
which I mean closing the public hearing for 250-1099.
Second.
All right, excellent motion. Motion made by Dan and seconded by Lisa. We're gonna do a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron.
Aye.
All right.
And we have Dan and Lisa.
Aye.
And I think Dan threw in an aye already. And we have Tama and Carrie.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. The hearing for file number 250-1099 is closed, and we'll be considering issuing the ANRAD likely next meeting. We now have file number 250, but did we get a file number complete on this next project on South Worcester Street?
No. This is, sorry, did you say 173?
Yes, they did.
They got a file number.
We did not get a file number, but we did
Or-
say
or-
we did say
Do we
173.
have,
No file number. But we
I
did say,
checked.
so.
I just checked a few minutes ago, so I'm
Who is, so Mr. Marini, you're the representative for the applicant?
Yes, I just checked on DEP's website. There is no file number, and we've been having trouble getting file numbers out of DEP, and it's I have proof, and I emailed proof that they cashed the check for DEP cashed their portion of the check, and I have a mailing proof that we mailed it. Especially we mailed it return receipt. So I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but they have it and has not been assigned. And if we could possibly discuss the plan on the, the contingency that if there is a file number and if you're agreeable to it, that contingent upon receiving a DEP file number. But I did everything I could to get one.
Sure. Yeah, no, I understand. So we can certainly go ahead and continue the discussion. I'm presuming that John was in contact with you with regard to the specific information we needed from our last hearing. And so is there any possibility you could share a plan?
Yeah.
So we can have something on the screen for everybody?
Yes,
And then
sure.
you can go ahead.
This is actually first time on this hearing. Valerie was on last call. I'm here with Yingli Zheng. She works in our office. She's sort of mirroring these hearings. So and she's worked somewhat on the plan. She's going to share the screen of the plan portion. We incorporated all the changes.
all right,
Yeah.
both of you have access. So there you go.
Yeah.
Right here.
we incorporated the changes that were suggested. Basically, the nodding, if you can see the entire plan there, can you, yeah, minus. Yeah. You zoom out a little,
Okay,
just hit minus, there you go.
we
There you go, that's
can
good,
see
that's good right there.
now.
Anyway, 273 South Worcester Street, there is there is an intermittent stream along the back of the property, and it carries up, the headwaters of it carry up towards Worcester Street. The stream actually divides and heads south. It kind of forks on the southwest corner of the property. There is not an intent to add bedrooms. There was an existing septic system that's there, and apparently there was an inspection done within the past year or two that was affirmative that it was okay. I mean, it does lie within 100 feet of the wetland line. In fact, there is the buffer zone has been located. The 25-foot no build actually is shown in green.
Robert, just to confirm with you, like I said in the email, that the 25-foot no build is the 25-foot no disturbance zone.
No disturb, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Right, okay. It turns out that, okay, now we hadn't then revised the plan since then. They're showing a gravel driveway and parking. There already is access to that shed. So yes, it's true. We're showing a proposed parking area that pulls up to the shed. So there is some proposed work within the 25-foot no disturb zone shown there. We've shown sedimentation erosion control barrier, the squiggly line, the squiggly orange line all around the limit of work. And so let me just back up a little bit. While you're looking over the plan, we did receive responses, green cards and white slips from the abutter, green cards rather, from the abutters. We pretty much got a full response. There, like I said, that there isn't any DEP file number. We've had trouble in other jobs just trying to get a DEP file number. A lot of times it just lies blank for a long time. Okay, so she's not adding any bedrooms, and there isn't a need to redesign the septic system as far as I can see, other than the fact that it lies where its position is relative to the wetland line. There is basically the site was probably at one time or another filled from Worcester Street down. It drops off and into this intermittent stream area, and that's right on the south border of the property. It's not too simple to see the contours range. We've only got 5 wetland flags, and the site ranges from 96 to 99. There's only about 3 feet of difference across from the northeast to the southwest corner of the property. So we see that the proposed addition is in maroon in the back of the house, and that extends and basically consumes the existing garage, which would be removed. And so there'd be new construction where it says, where it's color, that maroon color. There's architectural plans that carry it basically down on 2 stories and wraps around. Any questions?
Yeah, I'll start, and then I'm sure other commission members will have some question. But with regard to this area that is outlined as driveway and parking, abutting up against the shed, I assume that is lawn now. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So you're not really proposing any substantially new activity within the 25-foot no disturb?
No, this gravel driveway is leading to both sides of it.
And last time there was a discussion, and I don't know if you've discussed it with your client, but that the shed is not in terribly good structural shape right now. And, you know, there was a suggestion that if the intent is to eventually remove it, that maybe it could be incorporated into this notice of intent or not. I mean, have you discussed that with the client at all?
No, I haven't. You know, I just, my suggestion would be that they, if they renovated, if they fixed it, would that have to be incorporated into the, I mean, could you incorporate that into the order of conditions that they repair it? It's interior repair, but I could see from one of the photos that was sent that the roof, the shape of the roof is somewhat collapsed. So I didn't notice that when I was out there.
Right, and I think John can help us with that. I think a certain amount of normal maintenance is allowed without any filing, but it's a matter of the extent of any kind of restoration that might be done. So I'm assuming, John, that they could work on the roof and perhaps any structural elements.
I mean,
without having.
I'm going to
Yeah,
defer. I'm going to defer to the building inspector to see if it's even salvageable, because he needs to make that determination. And if all that is all rotted and there's no sense in that being, you know, sufficient for restoration, then I would suggest removing it and putting it outside the 25-foot buffer, at least, if they want to replace it. So I just don't know, because, you know, I'm not the building inspector. They'd have to talk to him and get his approval on whether they could restore it.
Yeah. And the other side of the coin is, I suppose they could just leave it as is and deal with it in the future with another filing.
Correct.
Anybody else?
If they rehabbed it according to the building inspector's recommendation, could you include such rehab in the order of conditions? If they structurally rehab the shed?
I mean, I would definitely get in contact with the building inspector as soon as possible if that's the case.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering, for the sake of this discussion tonight, whether there's a vote or not, it's up to you. But could it be incorporated into the order of conditions that might be developed?
That's up for the commission to make a decision on.
Okay.
I think it can only be incorporated if there will be no changes to the footprint of the shed. And this is not something necessarily that the applicant even wants to do with now. So we're just trying to suggest, if they do want to deal with that, that it might be in a more efficient manner to incorporate it in this. But if you know, they may not want to even consider it. They might want to focus on their current addition project. So maybe you could bring that possibility back to us next time. And meanwhile, any other members of the commission want to ask any questions, please?
I have a question about the driveway. So it might just be the scale, but how big is the driveway and why do you need to go into the 25-foot no build? Or no
Well,
disturb? Like, how many parking spaces is that going to accommodate? It's a single family
it
house.
looks to be about 6 parking spaces with room to back up and maneuver and head out straight. Trying to recall how we arrived at this. We may have gotten it from the architect.
Right.
I'm trying to recall how we arrived at this driveway, but.
Right, so did the applicant, did the proponent ask you to accommodate 6 parking spaces for a single family?
No, I no, I don't recall. This has been over a year. It was put on hold for about 6 or 7 months.
Okay, so I suggest that you revisit that and see what they really need to accommodate that household.
Yeah.
I think it's excessive. I mean, in light of the fact that it's in the 25-foot, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So,
Could you possibly unmute Valerie? I don't know if she's on. She might be declined, might be in the background.
and my other comment is that, so you're gonna convert that area from lawn, which I assume it infiltrates today, to some type of gravel. It may have fines in it. So I can't tell from the spot grades, how does that drain? You're not showing any proposed grade, but where would that drain?
It sheet flows to the back, to the stream.
So we would have to know what type of material you're putting down, if any fines would wash out of that. We have in the past asked applicants to put in a short, just a trench at the end of that driveway to capture any fines that may come off the driveway.
Yeah.
It's not going to be paid.
Okay. Trench.
So, I mean, we can't close, legally, we can't close without a number.
Can you close with a conditionally conditioned
No,
upon?
We can't close a public hearing unless DEP issues a file number according to the regulations. So in case DEP has a comment that must be addressed, we would be, well, first of all, we can't legally close it without the file number. Second, if DEP comes back with a comment that warrants you to change your plan, you'd have to reopen the public hearing. So it's not worth it.
Yeah, I see. I see a point. They didn't have any comments posted, but there was no DEP file number. So
right, they won't issue comments until they issue the file number usually.
Okay.
They usually come concurrently. So maybe perhaps you want to check with the building inspector, determine what drove the number of parking spaces and the amount of conversion from lawn to gravel, and maybe accommodate the trench drain if needed, if that parking area can't be reduced in size. That's all I have.
Can you explain for me what the different colored lines mean?
Yeah.
I understand that the dashed green line is the no disturb zone, and that the pink purplish line is the proposed new driveway.
Yes.
Okay, and the solid green line, what?
Solid green. Well, there's contours
This is contour line. Okay.
that are contours that are green. That the 1 footers, the 2 footers are brownish.
Okay.
Are those? That's a good point. Are those contours labeled? So this plan, although color coded, it is difficult to see. So are any of the contours labeled? No.
Yeah, I don't see a label either, so
We need to
That
label the
Maybe it's
contours.
closed on a layer, but okay, I'll note that.
So you have
And
some work to do before the next hearing anyway, so.
what's
Okay,
the orange
so-
zigzag line?
That's the sedimentation
That's
controls.
Oh,
Yeah, sedimentation
gotcha.
erosion control, the wavy lines, the wooded edge. The wetland line starts in the northwest, N1, that's the first flag, N2. So that's that's a dashed blue line. It comes down across the back.
Yeah, and Mr. Marini, be aware that there's no real magic about closing, because if everything is addressed in communications with the Conservation Office, we potentially can close and review a set of conditions next time and issue conditions. So it's a matter of getting everything teed up in order to get the thing to the end point. Closing can happen at any point.
But it would have to be at an actual meeting, though.
Yes.
Yes, well, there's information outstanding, and that has to be reviewed at a meeting as well. So
in light of us potentially getting the revised plan for next meeting, I will draft up an order of conditions for this project, and hopefully we get a DEP number by then. So that way it will expedite this process, so that only way you would only be attending 3 meetings instead of potentially 4.
Okay.
any further questions?
I mean, one.
Sorry,
one,
I had
sorry,
one more.
Go ahead. Go
Sorry.
ahead, Tama.
Where it has the measurement of 54.2 from the blue wetland line to the proposed addition, there's 2 blue wetland lines. What's the difference between those? Is that one like the far end of the intermittent stream?
So they're both sides of the banks of the intermittent stream.
Okay. Does measurement need to be taken from the
one's
closest?
the center line. Excuse me. One's the closest one to the built project is the wetland line, and then the other dashed line is the center line of the stream. So it kind of forks, branches in the southwest corner of the property.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yep.
So is it measured from the closest flag to the project site, the work site? That's the question.
It should be.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's measured from the center line. I just noticed that too.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Dimension should be from the closest point in the wetland line. Is that right?
Yes. Nice pickup.
Thanks. 2 days vacation will do that for a brain.
Any further questions? If not, we can consider a motion. Now, our next meeting is May 9th. And I'm assuming to the representative of the applicant that that's acceptable, that we consider a continuation until May 9th.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to continue file EP 250
XXX.
XXXX. The May 9th meeting of the commission.
I'll second it if we add 173 South Worcester to describe the site, but yes.
We can do that. So we have a motion made by Dan and seconded by Lisa for continuation of the hearing for 173 South Worcester Street until May 9th. And we will do a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron.
Aye.
Aye.
And Dan and Tama.
Aye.
Aye.
And Carrie and Lisa.
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So the motion carries. We will see you guys next time. And we are now finished with our public hearings. And we do not have any certificates of compliance or orders of conditions to review. We do have a set of minutes from the 28th of March. And we definitely have a quorum for that. Any comments on that set of minutes?
The March 28th meeting,
Correct.
is that? I'm trying to remember why we didn't approve those the last time. Was that because
I
we
think
didn't have a quorum?
we may not have had a quorum.
Yeah, we didn't have a quorum because I had to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting. Maybe that's why.
I didn't have any additional comments to them.
So I think we can consider a motion to do a yay or nay on the draft.
I will motion to accept the meeting minutes of March 28th, 2022.
Motion offered by Tama and seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Ron. Again, a roll call vote, starting with Mark and Ron. I think both of you were present, yes?
No, I'm going to abstain. I was not present for that.
Aye.
Well, I guess we have to, because you're listed as, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but it says members present. Is there a?
Yeah, Mark
Yeah.
wasn't part of the committee, I don't think, by,
Correct. The 11th was my first meeting as a member. I was in attendance, but not a member.
Accept your abstention, no problem.
Thank
And
you.
we have Tama.
Aye.
You're an
Oh.
aye. And then we have Ron, and I think, and Lisa.
Abstain.
Were you absent?
Yes. I distinctly remember I was on a beach in Mexico on March 28th, so can't forget
Well,
that.
All right, well, maybe we can correct that, because that is, you're listed as present.
All right, I'll fix that.
Okay. And then we have Dan.
Aye.
All right, so I think we got 4. I'm going to throw in an aye. So we got myself, Dan, Ron, and Tom. So we got 4. That was the hardest vote we've had for a while. All right, so motion carries. You guys can review the executive session minutes, since I don't have them and I don't participate in that. So maybe we can move on to new and old business. Anything we have to talk about before I sign off the meeting?
Yeah, we actually have a presentation tonight from Andrew Gita, so we're going to let him do that. But reporting and everything in from my side, a lot of activity happening, a lot of illicit activity that I have to keep tabs on. So that's been fun. And yeah, that's basically it. Just going out on site inspections, making sure everybody follows the rules. So we're just trying to make sure everybody's aware of what they need to do for certain projects and activities. So just been trying to keep tabs on a lot of residents here in town and commercial properties.
Can you extend that to Congress, maybe?
I wish.
As enforcing the rules go?
Yeah, I wish.
So
But,
our presenter is Andrew Gita.
Yes.
Yes.
So Andrew,
All right.
I'm going to make you a co-host and then you can share your screen. Okay.
Okay.
And I would start off by introducing yourself.
Hi, I'm Andrew Gita. I'm doing an Eagle Scout project, and yeah, this is it. So let me see. Yeah, so it's basically just to update on the Town Forest campsite area. The paths that are going to it and away are a bit overgrown, and it's usually about like a half to a foot on each side. They need to be cut back and just cleaned up in general. There's a few places like for some reason there's a small bench on one of the paths that needs to be like just cleaned up and replaced because it's quite old and just needs to be, I guess, replaced then. Yeah, we just need to move some trees around and just place some picnic tables here and there to actually make it a bit more I guess, presentable to people going there just to like walk around with the dogs and have a picnic, I guess. There's a small fire pit that the Boy Scouts made a while ago and just hasn't been removed. Mr. Robbins suggested to remove it, and that'd be part of the plan. The mapping of like some of the new paths people have made over the years, probably be a part of the project, as it's random that the people made new paths, and the current map that's been made doesn't include all of them. I'd be doing some fundraising for the project. It'd be probably 2 to 3 weeks from now. Once you guys approve of it, maybe $500 just for the picnic tables, benches, paint, and all other supplies. After fundraising, just project would begin as soon as possible, probably around summer. Mostly volunteers for Troop 61, my family and friends, and maybe groups of 5 to 10 at a time. Some of the current pictures, just fallen trees, there's trash around the fire pit right now, and the old log benches that I haven't actually seen anyone use. They would be removed. And some pictures more of the trails. It's a bit hard to see in some of the photos, but the trails are overgrown a lot and just fallen trees all over the place. The current trail map doesn't, of course, include the new trails people have made, but also I've noticed the 2 trails leading away from the access road. There's only one now, actually. I only could find one, I guess, and that's probably not the best. So I'm gonna probably try and map out the current area and new benches, replacing that old one I was talking about, and just a small benefit, I guess you could say, to the area, just make it more appeasable to the people walking around and all that. Just it's a disarray right now because no one's upkept in a bit, and I think that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. And
all right, it looks like a very worthy project, and one where you can get a lot of good exercise in the process. So we're looking forward to it. And anybody have any questions about this?
just to let everybody know, I will be monitoring the project on behalf of Andrew. So I will be there when they are doing work, and just make sure that the trails are cut and no one's using a chainsaw. So we just want to make sure that that's the case.
All right, and Dan, you have your hand up.
I'm afraid I cannot stop my video clapping. I've tried to turn it off, but
There you go.
yes, I think this is an excellent project.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
I have a comment. Is there any way we can, I know our funds are for Wetlands Protection Act only, but is it deemed conservation land? Is there any way the Conservation Commission can make a contribution?
No, I mean, I don't know why you say that our funds are only for the Wetlands Protection Act.
That's what I've been told for 30 years. But anyway, administration of the act.
Okay,
That's the
well,
line. But anyway.
we do have money in a land management account that we can assist with. So
Okay. Do we know how much is in there? Do we have to make a vote?
we have
Transfer that, or?
we have some money. I think that we can definitely discuss, as I'd like to see how the Scouts can do with fundraising, and then we can maybe supplement that or add to it more. And
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, it's a great project. I'm there all the time, and I either have to limbo or try to lift my dog over those logs.
So I have a dumb question. Where is the town forest?
So it's off of Plain Street.
Off of Plain Street. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Good. And Andrew, I was going to suggest, I don't know if it adds an extra burden to you, but I think this is a really good project. The Land Preservation Society has done some mapping as well. some GIS mapping and has some programs. So if you think that that's helpful to you for mapping trails, I'd be happy to put you in contact with some of the group over there that's worked on that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea.
Right, excellent. Any further comments?
Great
No, thanks for
project. Thanks,
proposing
Andrew.
this, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Kathy. I know you're there.
You're welcome. Thanks, Kathy.
Right. Well, good presentation. And I see 154 Pine Street. Is that something we need to discuss tonight?
So it's just a notification that the applicant has submitted a stormwater permit per my request. So they have done that. They're in compliance as of right now. They will be filing with the Conservation Commission for the large scale project that's coming up for the 40 plus units that they're proposing at 154 Pine. So you'll see that in probably not this round, but next round.
So,
All
John
right.
Thomas,
Yes.
I would like to give you comments on this documentation that I can't imagine meets our stormwater permit. It's really about sediment control and not erosion. Yet they're calling everything erosion, and they need to get those terms straight.
Sediment controls are in. They have the silt socks there.
Right. We'll talk about this offline. There is a tremendous difference between erosion and sediment. They have
Right.
it backwards.
Erosion controls are interior and sediment controls are the barriers. Yes.
Right. We're going to have it offline, but the erosion control detail they showed us is not an erosion control detail. It's a sediment control detail. So
Correct.
they need to get it straight. I will send you edits, and they should perhaps provide some erosion control blankets, which erosion control measures, which would be temporary seeding, mulching, and whatever. If it's left, I don't know what our bylaw says. Is it 14 days? Whatever the time frame is. So they need to figure that out. So I'll be in touch with you tomorrow on that.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, Bob.
John,
Please identify yourself.
this is Bob Butler. John, I think you just mentioned like 40 houses. Isn't the plan for 88 houses the last I saw?
For which one?
For 154 Pine Street.
Well, there's two phases. There's going to be the 126 side, and then there's going to be the 154 side.
Okay, altogether, yeah. There's two different.
Altogether, it's going to be about 80, but I think they're going to start with one side then the other.
Okay. I noticed that more land is just sold on Pine Street, another 18 acres. So, plus all the land, I'm on 133 Pine Street. So all the land behind me is sold to the same developer. I'm not sure who bought the remaining 18 acres. But I mean, how is Pine Street going to handle, so you got 88 houses so far, and then that's just on one side and not even all of one side. You have another 18 acres on that east side of Pine Street, and then all the land on the west side of Pine Street. I don't know how many, more houses they're planning on developing on the west side. Is there going to be like another 88 houses? So, we're going to talk about 160 plus houses. I don't know what, I have a stream that runs full time behind my house. Most of that water comes from the other side of the east side of Pine Street, comes under the road, runs, springtime, I have sump pump that runs. So I'm not really sure how that's all going to be handled. I just hope that it's, looked into. Along with, I know that the water, the well water, it's probably not your jurisdiction, excuse me, but that's also a major concern.
Oh, I completely understand where you're coming from. Obviously, the water department and, the planning department, I think this project's going to be coming in front of the planning department first, as I've been informed. So if you have any concerns regarding volumes of traffic or any sort of development, you definitely can bring it up at the next planning meeting. But for conservation, we haven't received anything as of yet. So there's really not much we can discuss. The only thing that we received was a stormwater permit for the after the fact activity that was going on there. So that's the only thing that we received, but we will be getting a full application, which will include everything for the proposed project that's coming in.
Do you happen to know when the project's going to be in front of the planning board again in public hearing?
It's my understanding that they're awaiting to file until the new planning board members are selected. And I think that would be April 31st when that goes through, or the next week after that. I just know that there's that cutoff date that needs to get the members on board for the re-elections.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, so unless there are further items other than the executive session minutes, I think I'll be signing off. Anything more, John?
Nope, that's it for this evening.
All right, so I'm going to turn things over to Lisa. Till next meeting. Thank you guys for attending tonight. And
Thank you.
I'll
And I'm
see
dropping off as well. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, so we have to probably vote to end this regular public hearing session.
Yes.
All right,
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, usually wave.
Aye.
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 So we're about to enter executive session. I see a few names on here I don't recognize. Oh, there we go. I don't know who
So-
Jocelyn is.
We can't go into executive session because it's not posted.
Oh. Okay. Well, there we go.
So is what we're doing just approving the meeting minutes?
That's correct.
I didn't think we could do that without going into executive session.
We did it already, so I don't see why we can't. Didn't we? The last meeting?
I think we didn't
No.
have a quorum at the
We
last
didn't have a
meeting.
quorum.
Okay, so then, yeah, we're gonna have to do an executive session then. I mean, I already sent these minutes over to Alex. Is that correct, Megan?
Not yet. No, I just compiled them into one file.
Okay, so we haven't sent them over to him yet.
No.
Okay. I mean,
So,
I don't know what the legality is for, comments and things like that. So I guess the recommendation that I have here is that if you have comments, please forward them over to Megan individually, and we can make the adjustments, because that's the only way that I think we can do it.
I do believe we had approved the last executive minutes last meeting.
Yeah, I'm not really comfortable discussing like executive session meetings in an open session because there was a
Right.
reason we kept it confidential in the first place.
Mhm.
well, we're
Okay.
not in an executive session. So.
What?
We're not even in an executive.
Right, that's
We're in nothing. We're in no person's land right now. So, yes, I would suggest if anybody has comments to send them individually to John Thomas.
yeah.
And that's the 3:10 and 4:05 sessions.
And Megan, I just realized that I don't seem to have access to that folder. So if you're able to get me access to it, then I will get my comments to you.
Yep,
If
I
they're
will
already-
send them over.
Thank
It
you.
will probably be tomorrow because I don't have access to them
Yeah.
right now.
It's works for me.
All right, just say that was housekeeping issues. There we go. So I think we already.
Did we
Very-
say that we do need to put together an executive session in order to approve the minutes, or we just send our comments to John Thomas and we're done?
If you send your comments to me, I can make the adjustments, and then I can have them worded and revised, and then send them over to Alex for his review. I know he's waiting for getting those minutes before they get released. So the appeal period for those is coming up. So we will need to be able to release those relatively soon because the agreement will, that appeal period is coming up. So
So does that mean we have to call for a separate executive session whenever, next week or whatever, just to approve these minutes, John? I don't know.
I mean, we,
I think we can approve them with, if we don't have discussion, if we, you know,
so the problem that I have is I don't know how we're going to approve every single executive session. I mean, unless how'd you do it previously with all the other minutes?
I don't remember.
Remember.
I
So-
thought they were voted on in the past. The ones that I've been to, they've just been voted on during regular meetings. And most of the time they were just okayed, so there was no intense discussion about it.
Yeah, voting on them, I think, is fine. It's just the discussion of it because we're discussing confidential information, not in a confidential setting.
So if we were to send John Thomas the comments, maybe on the 9th, we can just administratively vote to approve them during the regular meeting.
Right.
Okay. I think that's what we're gonna have to do, John. Just maybe send the draft to Alex.
Yeah, I can send a draft and say that there's going to be revisions. Or I can say, to say that, you know, come the 9th, then we'll have a better understanding.
Well, I think we would be ready to vote to approve them on the 9th, right?
Yeah.
So everybody should get their comments into you by giving them a deadline. I don't have any, I won't be able to comment because I think I was absent for both.
Right.
So we should just get word out that you need the comments ASAP.
All right. I'll have Megan send that out
Okay.
to all the
And
members
then-
that attended those meetings.
Yeah, and then maybe just give everybody a couple of days and then get them to Alex and say these were approved. Nobody, you know, whatever. They incorporated the comments and then we'll vote on them on the 9th. Okay. All right. I think we already voted to
adjourn,
but it's 7:26 now. We're truly adjourned.
Okay. All right. Happy Monday.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
See you all later.
See you next Monday.